Thank you everyone for joining us tonight as we dive into Hyperborea, Heroes of Hyperborea, episode 7. Tonight we will have a one-on-one game between me and my brother in Austin, who is recovering from COVID. He's in quarantine. This is the Hyperborea quarantine edition. So happy New Year to everybody. And as we dive in, so introduce yourself.
I am a COVID survivor for the holidays. Thank you, vaccine. Gee whiz, day 7. I am Trevor's older brother by 6 years, and we've been playing the Hyperborea storyline for a few sessions. I played our barbarian beforehand. He died, so that was awesome.
Valiantly, we might add. Valiantly.
Yes. Well, it was a very Hyperborean end. So it was actually great storytelling, and I loved how the whole story came about, and we just kind of went with it. And speaking of kind of going with it with Hyperborea, I really, if you read the 3E edition, it says, one of the options is just let dice decide what your next character is going to be. And that's exactly what we did after Dracon died. I was like, you know what? Let's just roll stats. And let's just see
here is what's interesting. So tonight, in all the years that Chris has gamed, he has never played a spellcaster, like a legit spellcaster. So this is branching out. Now, the other thing, no judge, don't judge. Now, I do want to say, he was brave. Not only did he roll his stats straight, meaning that his first roll was strength, his second roll was dex, and all of that, and his highest stat ended up being intelligence. So he's like, let's just go caster. Let's go for it. So this week, I'm talking to him on the phone, and I said, what spells are you going to take? He's like, let's just roll at random. Now, here's the thing. He was getting tested for COVID. He calls me on the phone. He says, just roll it for me. So
I was in the car getting my nose swabbed.
He was getting his nose swabbed. He's like, Trevor, just roll it. Just roll it. So we rolled all the spells that he is starting with. And I got to say, it's pretty amazing, the ones we rolled.
Yeah. I mean, it was totally dope. It totally went with the type of character that we had imagined based off of the initial rolls.
There is one big surprise, and we'll save that for the game. One of the spells I don't think either one of us had in mind, and then when I rolled it, you were like, "Oh yeah, let's just go for it." Yeah. So we'll save that. That'll be we'll tease that later, but there is a surprise coming. Yeah, it's random.
I love 3E. I mean, we've really just kind of just leaned into it. Even with Dracon's death, it was like, this is just how Hyperborea is. Like, just roll with it, And then even with the making of the new character, the construction of how this thing is put together is really just genius. It just makes sense, and I'm enjoying it because no one's really Superman, and there's some real thinking that has to go through it.
Right. It's really interesting a lot of times in these games, you have less buttons to push in a lot of ways, but you feel like you can do more. It's really weird how less is more. All right, so we're going to dive in. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and it is time to dive into our one-on-one adventure as we introduce... and what is your character's name?
We went with Magnus.
Magnus, yes. Magnus. Now, Magnus, who is Greek, is traveling. And let's go ahead and let's kick up some music.
And Magnus has a white kind of shortcut kind of beard. Probably in his late 40s, early 50s. And he's on this boat. He's got the kind of a hood, but with a belt kind of thing around him. And the sun is kind of on his face because he's from the largest city in Hyperborea, Chromarum.
Yes.
And so just to give you an image of kind of what he looks like, he's not wretchedly poor, but he's not wealthy.
I've got his picture pulled up here on Roll20 for people to see, but yes. So as we pick up the game tonight, we pick up as the merchant ship Diadem is sailing north across the bay, and and the ship is moving into Dagon Bay. It's been a long trip for Magnus aboard this ship, the merchant vessel. As he's made it up the coast, he's gone up the Lizard Coast and is now moving across into Dagon Bay and moving into this little inlet. There is a small village there that you're particularly interested in. Your studies in Cromarium, you've come up with a theory about a local legend here, and you have traveled to the fishing village of Ryland. It is cold. It is winter. As the months have turned cold at the end of this cycle, we are getting closer where the days are even shorter. As we move closer into the winter season, snow is falling, and as the ship crests into the bay itself, you look across and you see this ominous fog that kind of rolls across the bay. The ship breaks in, and you see docks. You see several fishermen moving about. You see them wearing very thick leather like cloaks and hide armor as they're kind of moving about. You notice that the most of the ones that you're seeing are Eskimos, which is what you expected. You knew that Ryland was an Eskimo village. And as you move in and the ship docks, you step foot onto the dock as you look about, and you see 5 Eskimos looking about, some carrying nets, others carrying a few spears. The smell of fish permeates the entire area as you see them they're pulling the nets in from the bay, as you see them pulling out very large fish out of the bay itself. There is a decking that goes all the way that has been constructed that moves into this inlet. There's a tributary that kind of pulls out water from the mainland that's like kind of like emptying into the Gulf itself. And as you move up and as you move into the docks, you see as the snow falling, you see the gates of this small fishing village, and you see a large building in the horizon. And what you see kind of shocks you a little bit, because it is not the construction that you were expecting of an Eskimo village. It looks more Viking in construct. And as you move in, we'll now take a look at Ryland. Oh, I am having an issue. Hold up.
I see it.
Okay, there we go. All right, so as you're moving up the docks, you're moving in, and you see these. There's a few buildings, but there's 2 very large buildings. There's one tall building, then there's a bridge that crosses over this tributary, and then you see this larger compound. There are several big fire pits like just blowing and brazing in the wind, and you can see light is emanating from that. As you've landed and it is getting dark, you walk in and you see mostly Eskimos walking about, but you do see a few pretty heavily clad Vikings walking about the camp as well. What would you like to do?
I'm going to walk up to the group of Eskimos. Do I see the captain of the ship? Did he also get off of the boat?
She, the Amazonian Xanthi, she is already bringing in. They're bringing in several crates. They're trading different wares that they have, but they're here to trade for furs.
Captain, if I may, where do you recommend I stay for the night here?
Oh. Here, there's only one place you can stay. It's a very burly female lady. She looks up and goes, "Oh, unless you are a sentry, you stay out here, but all guests stay in the main lodge ahead."
Thank you. Thank you for your help. Is there any other advice you could give a traveler who is making their journey through this land?
I would not stay here long.
How long will you be moored here, or do you leave henceforth?
Oh, we plan on leaving in the morning.
Good. Thank you for your time and the safe travels.
And thank you for your coin.
Yes. Here's a bit more, and I give her another little bit.
Okay. Now you you have some small coins with you that we had, but you also have about 20 gold saved up for your journey. So just kind of keep that.
Okay. So I look around, and I'm going to begin to make my way towards the fire. the communal flyer and see if I can pick up what language they're speaking and if it's something that I can understand.
They are mainly speaking a common tongue. You do hear some of the Vikings speaking the Norse tongue. Are you familiar with that tongue? Because I know you speak a few languages.
Norse is one of the languages that I had studied, yes.
Okay. So you hear the Norse tongue being spoke. You hear two older gentlemen talking and seem to be cursing the winter. You hear one say, "Oh, blasted winter. Good thing we sold the rest of the slaves before we landed here."
All right. And then I'm going to. Does it look like there's a place that's selling food or fresh fish?
So everything here smells like fish. This is where basically all of the fishermen are bringing their things in. However, you see that most of the people that you traveled with and some of the Vikings are moving across the bridge into the main lodge, and that seems to be where the food and lodging is.
All right, so I'll make my way hence.
Okay. All right, as you move over, as you move through, you see several other Eskimos looking about as you cross the creek, and it seems the wind is kicking in extremely hard. You look in, you actually see little chunks of frozen ice in the tributary itself that's emptying out into the ocean, and it seems like the water is colder inland than it is as it moves out. It's just something that you notice as you're walking through. You knew it would be cold. You did dress for the journey, but it's much colder than you anticipated.
When I look to my right before entering into the first lodge, I see this stone edifice here on the map.
This?
Yes, can I go take a look at that?
Yes, you may.
One of the things that I'm obviously looking for are any remnants of an older civilization, and so as part of I'm very interested to see what this might be.
It's older. It's not as old as what you're looking for. This has probably been made in the last century by what you're looking at. It is stonework. It does have different languages like carved into it that you're not entirely familiar with, but you do notice that the crest on the headstone of the piece is definitely a religious symbol, probably a place that people come here to gather. And you do notice the unmistakable marking of Cthulhu.
Oh. And would that be strange in this land, or does it?
You have read that there are some Eskimo that worship Cthulhu, the ocean god.
Okay, and it makes sense. I mean, it's how they make their daily wage. All right. Do I see anything else? Is that it looks like there might be something behind that.
Behind that structure, you see another building. There is a fire coming out of that. As you get closer, it looks like some type of tannery. You see several leathers and pelts being drawn out, and you see an Eskimo working inside there.
Okay. Let me go in and see if I can make conversation with the tannery and see if I can't get a new book for my writing of my spells and scrolls.
Okay. You walk in, you see an older individual. As you walk in, you notice that when you walk in, he's dressed as an Eskimo, but as you turn, you realize he is not an Eskimo. He looks Nordic. He looks like a Viking. He's just wearing the garb of the Eskimo, so it's probably local. He does smell of fish as you come in, and you see this very old, just gnarly individual with a gray beard and a long nose, gray hair kind of pulled back, is smoking a pipe as he's working, and he sets it down. He looks and goes, "Oh, good day, sir. What can I do for you?"
Good day to you. I am Magnus, and I have just arrived from Chromarium. Good sir, do you sell your wares here?
How I make coin, yes. Are you interested in armor or hides keep you warm?
I would like 2 things. This is colder than I had expected. I would appreciate hides that you'd recommend. Nothing that would encumber me too much, but enough to keep me warm.
I have a wolf pelt cloak. That'll do you well.
And how much, sir?
About 5 silver pieces.
And what about a piece of leather to help with my parchment?
Oh, if you need parchment, I have that as well. Some of the priests use it.
Perfect. I'll take both. 3 silver should do it, eh?
No, I said 5.
Ha ha!
And then the parchment would be another 3, so 8. 8 silver.
I'll give you 7.
Roll a d6. Oh, sorry, I need to be able to keep my shop open. It'll be 8, good sir.
All right. What's your name, sir?
Alpha. What brings
Alpha.
you here? Alpha, yes.
I am in search for things that fall from the sky. Some call it star metal. Have you seen such things?
I see things fall from the sky in the distance, yes, but it's interesting. You're not the first one to come through here looking for such things.
Oh, really? Someone like myself?
Taller, younger, more good-looking.
Well, that's not a stretch.
He came through here not 2 weeks ago.
Do you remember his name or where he was from? Maybe he's one of my city friends.
No. These were odd folk. I believe he was one of those Atlanteans.
Atlanteans, interesting. And you said taller?
No, not so much.
All right.
He wore,
an Atlantean.
he wore a long blue robe, if I remember.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you for the information. And where did you point them in the direction of these falling star metal?
Well, there's a lake outside of town, and there's an area there that a lot of fishermen go and they find different things. It's dangerous, so I believe that is where he headed, but I told him he should find a guide first, but I'm not sure if he heeded my advice.
And where might I find this guide? And what lake should I look for?
The lake is just north of town. If you follow the tributary out, you'll find it. There are fishermen out there, but I wouldn't go out there at night. I would also recommend a guide. You can find some in the lodge, I'm sure. There's a few. I know the Vikings here are looking for coin, but there's also some locals you could ask.
And what about you, dear sir?
Oh no, I don't venture outside of town.
Well, you've been more than helpful. Here's 10 silver.
Oh, thank you. If you need anything else, let me know. And he hands you over the heavy wolfen cloak, and also he hands you the extra parchment, and he hands you also an extra quill and vial of ink to go with it.
Oh, awesome. All right, and with that, I bid him adieu, and I make my way into the larger area, a bit warmer.
You do. As you move in, as you get closer, you still smell fish, but now it smells like cooked fish. As you're getting closer into the large gates that are open, they do have a few. I'd say sentries. They just look like Eskimos carrying spears, kind of looking over everybody. As you walk in, you do see a younger female that's fairly attractive, walking about. It's the first female that you've seen in this camp, and she's moving about and talking to the the other various Vikings, and she looks like she may be Norse as well. And you see that she's moving about, and there's a camp of Vikings off to the left inside the lodge. Now, as you enter the lodge, you see it's several wooden pillars, and in the middle of this lodge is a giant fire pit that everyone is kind of gathered around. They have giant spits across it that are cooking some large fish. They're passing around some type of ale, and the Vikings seem to be quite loud and boisterous, where the Eskimos seem to be quieter and just kind of huddled together and keeping quiet.
All right, I'm gonna look for a bit of ale and a bit of food.
Okay, you see a smaller male Eskimo seems to be taking orders. He sees you walk in. He goes, "Oh, good day, sir. What can I do for you?"
I'll take whatever beer you may have, and also
ale.
What's that?
Ale.
Ale, yes. Ale. I'll take an ale, and I'll also have whatever fish that you may have that you recommend.
Oh, good. We have fresh cod. I'll bring it for you.
Yes.
So he stops and he goes, "Oh, and that'll be Are you going to be staying here tonight? Would you like to open a tab?"
Yes. A room for the night. And what time of day is it?
It's moving in tonight.
Okay. So yes, a place for a space for the evening.
And what is your name, good sir?
Magnus.
Magnus, Aguta. Aguta is my name, good sir. And,
all right, Aguta.
What is that? What is that odd smell? I smell something on you.
Is it my new pelt? Do you like it?
He goes, no, he goes, smell a bird.
Bird?
He must have just come in. I apologize. Just a strange smell.
So then I do this.
And as you do that, you do feel on the inside of your cloak something moving about. He was maybe smelling your friend.
Oh yes.
So
not yet, my friend. Not yet.
Okay. Aguta leaves.
I say that under my pelt. Not yet, my friend. Not yet.
And Aguta leaves, and he goes and he pulls together like this iron plate, and he's pouring an ale and everything. There is an open table close to the fire that you see.
As he does that, did he bring me the food?
Yes, he's bringing you the food now.
So as he brings me the food, that is when my familiar Raftantis, describe he's an Archaeopteryx.
Describe Raftantis as you sit down. This little thing comes scurrying out, and you start feeding him some of the fish as well.
Yes, so he is a bird with lizard-like features, a long tail, a reptilian tail. He's a familiar that I acquired from my great-grandfather.
And as you say that, Aguta looks up and goes, "That is very interesting. I've not seen one of those before. Is he? You said he's familiar to you. He's your friend? Is he trained?"
Yes, he's been with me for many, many years.
That's very odd. He's not going to bite anything, is he?
Depends on who we're talking about. No, I assure you, he's house trained. He'll be fine, and he will cause no trouble.
Well, good. Just keep him to yourself. Those Vikings over there, they may want to try to kill it for sport and eat it.
I tell you what, bring me another plate of your cod. Between he and I, we can take down two.
Sure. I'll put it on your tab, good sir. So he leaves and he brings you another fish. And as he does that, before he gets back, Raftontix has eaten almost half the first one. Is rather hungry as he's going through and kind of chewing it up. It's very interesting. You've seen Raftontix go weeks and months without eating, and then sometimes he'll just eat a ton. It's kind of strange. But in this case, he seems to be eating the cod.
But at this point, I'm going to look to Raftontis.
Okay.
And I'm going to speak to him, and I'm going to say, Raftontis.
He kind of turns his head and kind of cooks it over. His big black eyes kind of looking over to the plume of his green and black feathers kind of shake a little bit on the back.
Reptantis, find the Atlantean. Fly and see if you can find an Atlantean. You'll know.
He kind of shakes his head. He looks down. He takes a bite out of the food, and then he flies up and then out one of the little openings. There's like the way this construction is built. It's not like completely sealed. So he kind of finds like a little window area to kind of fly out, and he disappears. So as he is on the search for the Atlantean, what would you like to do?
I'd like to see if I can overhear any more talk, and I need to find a guide for the first thing in the morning. I plan on leaving first thing.
There's a few conversations happening. There's two different tables of Vikings, and there's a table of Eskimos close to you. One is you see a larger Viking sitting there with the female that you saw earlier. And they seem to be talking. She's pouring him ale, and he has a larger meal than most as he's sitting over there looking over. There's a table next to him with three other fully clad Vikings. They're wearing armor. They have weapons and shields beside them at the table, and they're all laughing and drinking and everything. They seem to be enjoying the spoils of their trip. As you came in, you did see some Viking longboats that had been pulled up off of the water itself, as if maybe they were going to be here for a while. They actually kind of like dry docked them up. So it seems like they seem to be staying here for a while. You do hear one of the Vikings at one of the table call out and say, Colborne, thank you so much for having us, and it was good raiding this season. And Colborne, the larger Viking, reaches over and goes, and next season we will make even more. And you look over and you see Colborne.
Oh wow! Awesome. All right. Cool. So it seems as if they've just arrived as well.
Seems like not too long ago.
I'm gonna walk back over to the proprietor. What was his name again?
Aguta.
Guta. Do I see Guta?
Aguta, yes. He's tending to some of the Eskimos. He's pouring fresh ale for them.
All right, so I'm gonna walk over to Aguta and say, Aguta, in the morning, where might I find passage to the lake north of here? Do you have a guide or someone here that you would recommend?
Are you a fisher or a hunter, good sir?
I am a hunter of such. I am hunting after things that might fall from the sky.
Oh, like that Atlantean chap that came through.
Ah, it seems that someone of similar interests may be ahead of me.
I only remembered because it's the first Atlantean we've seen here in quite some time.
Ah, fantastic. Well, I'd like to catch up to them then, perhaps.
He was a few weeks out. We haven't seen him. Don't believe.
No. Well, what lake are we talking about? Is there a certain name of a lake?
We only know it as Sonoth.
Sonoth. All right. And is there anyone here besides these Norsemen that I might be able to get safe passage?
Siku could help us. Siku. And he at the table, he reaches over, and you see a grizzled individual with black hair sitting there at the table. It looks pretty rough, like maybe he hasn't bathed in quite some time, and he kind of looks up and he goes, kind of nods his head, and they kind of look at each other, and Aguta looks up and goes, Siku, you up to make coin? This individual here wants to go to Sonoth. And Siku goes, sure. Why would you want to go out that way?
I am an explorer and searcher of antiquities of such, and I am looking for safe passage. Would you be able to take me, and do you have the means? Do you have a boat?
Oh no, the lake is completely frozen at this point. We can head out on foot.
Ah, That will do. Do you have a pack, or do we walk?
We can walk. It'll be fine. We can leave out at first light.
All right. Siku,
Yes.
I am Magus.
Magus, I will take
And,
you there for 1 gold, and I will bring you home safely for 2 gold.
You have a deal.
So,
And then at that point, I put my hand out and I shake it, and I give him 1 silver as a thank you.
yes, you bring gold in the morning. I'll take 1 in the morning, and 1 when we get back.
Yes, you will. I'll see you at first light.
Sure. Will you bring provisions as well?
Can you provide for additional?
Yes, it'll be another 5 silver.
Make it enough for 2. Let's make it 8 silver.
Okay, I'll bring extra. We'll do that. Yes.
Fantastic.
What exactly are you looking for? There are
Star
many
metal, things that fall from the
Star
sky.
metal. Star metal. Yes. Yes, I think I know what
Have
you're
you
talking about.
seen?
Yes, I believe it is out there.
If you could take me to where you think that you have seen. If
I will
you've
take
seen
you.
this.
With the snow, it may be difficult to find, but I will take you to the area that I know.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Siku, and I will see you first light.
Sure, we'll meet out by the front gate.
Yes, I will see you then.
All right. He returns to his ale.
And at that point, I'm going to go over and see if I can make conversation with the Norse.
Okay. Which table? The table with Colborne or the table with the 3?
With Coborn.
Okay, as you walk forward to Colborne, the other Vikings, one particularly looks over at you, he stands up and kind of intercepts you as you're approaching the table. Towering above you, he looks down and he goes, "What's your business, old man?"
Only looking for conversation for the night. Only on my way from one point to the next. Have you come from the north?
Yes, we came from the islands. How about you? Where did you come from? Wait.
I've come from the city. I've just come in from the port.
I recognize that voice of yours.
Yes. Yes, and it's my first time in this parts, and I'm looking for star metal, heading to the north.
Star metal.
Yes. Have you seen any in your travels?
Here and there, useless trinkets, really.
Yes. Yes, pretty much useless trinkets, but of interest to me from a historical perspective. I'm a writer of sorts, and a writer of history, and find there to be quite interesting.
You've traveled to a dangerous place to write silly stories, good sir.
Yes, but as you age, you find to follow your own folly.
Where are you headed?
To the North Lake.
Do you need a guide? I could take you.
I've already found a guide, but I appreciate your offer.
One of those small chaps there. Good luck.
Didn't you just return?
No, I've been here. We just came from the sea. But I know the lake you're speaking of. I could take you there. And what is your name, good sir?
Magos.
Magnus. Magnus. My name is similar. Magnus. Magnus is my name.
Your name is Magnus, and I'm Magus. That's interesting. Well, have you had a good season from the islands?
You could say this. You could say that. There was lots of bounty to be found in our travels. And when he says that, there's a lot of laughter coming behind him. And he looks over and goes, yes, it was a good season. It was a good season.
What brings you to this area?
Well, good place to lay low and wait till the winter passes.
I like it. Well, it's been nice to meet you and on your travels, and hopefully we will meet again.
If you're going out there one of those chaps, I doubt we'll meet again. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, so now I want to do a intelligence check to see if I think that I should listen to him or not.
I'm gonna say this is I'm not gonna say this is a roll. I'm gonna say this is up to you. I don't think this is a roll.
So go with the local or go with the strong Nordish.
Right.
Yeah, I'll go with the brute.
You're gonna go with the brute instead?
Yeah.
All right. So you go back to Magnus.
Yes. Magnus, what would you charge me for you and to take me onto this trip to the North Lake?
Couple of gold.
Hmm.
We'll say 2 there, 2 back. Make it easy.
Would you accompany one that has seen what I'm looking for?
What do you mean? When you say that, you realize he's kind of like a
local.
Oh,
I want to take them both.
I guess we can do that. Yeah, I'll go with you.
All right, it's a deal. Thank you. We're leaving at first light.
Okay, 2 gold first. 2 gold.
2 gold first, yes. And you will take care of your own food?
Sure. I can bring ale.
Ah, perfect. 2 gold it is. And so at that point, I give him 2 gold.
Okay. All right, and with that, he turns around, walks up to Aguta, and orders more ale with his newfound fortune.
Okay. And with that, I feel good about my decisions because I found a local that's seen the star medal and knows about where to take it. But I also know that I've had multiple people tell me that this is a dangerous area, and I think some Norse strength couldn't hurt.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to do tonight?
No, let's call it a night.
Okay. So you get a night, you rest, Raftantis, as you're getting ready to go to bed, you find your lodging that Aguda got for you. It's a nice cot. It's nice to finally be able to sleep on something that isn't constantly swaying back and forth and moving. As you lay down, you sense that Raftantis has not returned. What would you like to do?
I did not expect him to return. I know that he's probably going to be gone for a while, but he's good for it.
You do have some abilities that you can use with that, I believe. Is there anything that you want to do? This is your first time playing this. I kind of want to see if there's anything you want to do with that.
I don't think the time is right yet.
Okay.
I don't think he's had enough time to have found this person yet.
Okay.
In just an evening, but I can.
Oh, never mind. The range on that's not what I thought it was. Okay. Yeah. So he's far away at this point.
He's far away at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
And so with that, I'm ready to get started on the next morning's trek.
Okay. All right. So you get a good night's rest. You wake up early in the morning before sunrise. You prepare your. It takes you a good hour to hour and a half to kind of get ready and prepare all of the things that you want to have prepared for the day. You wake up. You go downstairs. You have your tome with you for your morning reading, and as you do that, they also have some like bread laid out for you, and they also have a tea that they seem to be making that everyone here is drinking.
And just as a footnote, I woke up early this morning and kind of prepared myself, as well as my spells, just for the trip, and for what I might need moving forward.
Okay. As you prepared yourself, you have Aguta is up early this morning as well, and he brings over some bread and a cup of tea. The tea rouses your senses and kind of helps stir you and wake you as you drink this warm tea that they seem to have. You're not quite sure what the leaf is that they're putting in it, but it is quite tasteful.
Good. Aguta, Thank you. This is fantastic. Siku. Is Siku there as well?
Siku said to meet you at the gate.
All right, so I'm gonna bid him adieu. Pay him what I need to pay him.
Okay. You settle up. You hand him a few silver coins. You still have a good amount of coin left as you make your way out with your new wolf pelt cloak to keep yourself warm. It's early in the morning. The sun is just beginning to rise. In the distance, you can see the rings of Synchronus or Saturn in the distance as you see it as you're walking out. The snow is still falling, and as you look out, you see Siku out there. By the gate. He has with him what looks to be like a sled with some supplies on the back of it that he's pulling. And he looks over and he goes, Magnus, is that correct?
Yes. Yes, Magnus. Have you seen Norseman, Magnus, this morning?
Magnus, yes. Is he joining us?
Yes, he is.
You might want to go wake him. He's passed out by the gate.
All right, so I make my way that direction, and as I do, I look up to the Celestials, and I look over to see if any signs of my familiar.
No, you look around, you do not see him.
All right, and then as I make my way over to the gates, I look for my blonde, strong friend.
He is, in fact, passed out by the gate. He has an empty flask of ale sitting next to him, and he is quite passed out drunk.
Okay, perfect. Is there any water nearby?
Yes, there is some water by the fire as people are kind of waking up. And it's kind of like this water that everyone kind of like, they slosh it around and they kind of like blow their nose out into it and kind of wake up, and it's really nasty. It's a communal like snot bowl.
Okay, well, I don't want to get the crap kicked out of me this morning. That's disgusting. I'm going to give him a good kick.
Okay.
In the ribs.
All right, so you give him a swift kick. He kind of stirs and he goes, gold, 2 gold, sir.
Yes, you received your 2 gold last night, and you'll get the rest when we move.
Okay. All right. He stands up. He takes his shield and puts it on his back, and he has a hand axe by his side. He goes, and he starts stumbling out, and he looks over and he sees Siku coming as well, and he goes, tell you what. Talking to Siku, he says, he's giving me 2 gold. I'll give you 1 gold if you pull me on that. And Siku looks over and he goes, okay, yeah, sure. So Magnus clops down on the sled and continues his rest as Siku pulls the supplies and Magnus on the sled as you are heading out. And you're kind of amazed at the strength of Siku that he's able to pull the supplies and Magnus without much of a problem. He's a big burly guy. And you make out in the morning with your half passed out Viking friend and Siku, who's pulling the supplies and him on the sled. As he's pulling, you're kind of walking ahead, and Siku goes, just move past the horizon. I follow. I keep my eye out. And as you walk out, you're seeing a beautiful scene of as the snow is falling. You see the frozen lake in the distance. It will only take you an hour or two to get out there. In fact, you see other fishermen and people in the distance breaking the ice of the lake and ice fishing in the distance. And it's only within a couple of hours of walking out as the sun is now fully over the sky. It's still bitterly cold, and you're very thankful that you're carrying this cloak as you're making your way out. Are you carrying a staff? Is that what you have?
Yes, I have a staff.
Okay, so as you're carrying your staff and you're kind of making your way through, you look back, and about a couple of hours later, you hear something behind you, and you look back, and it looks that Magnus has rolled off the sled and is beginning to stand up and walk. He goes, much thanks. And now he is kind of stumbling about as they've kind of gotten to a harder part of the trail. As you look out, Siku looks and goes, oh yes, Sarnath, We are here. And as you look out, you see this view of Sarnath.
Oh, wow.
In the distance, you see these stones kicked up across the frozen lake. On the left side of those stones, you see what looks to be some type of a fisher's encampment. You see some people kind of moving about there, and you see what looks to be like a giant, like some type of contraction, like a crane or something that has a large rope that seems to be tied down and going into the lake itself. As you do that, you begin to walk. You stop short of the ice. And Siku walks up and kind of bangs on the ice. He goes, "It's good and hard. It's cold. We're good to walk." And with that, he looks over to Magnus and he says, "Magnus, you be careful. You're heavy." And Magnus just kind of shrugs him out of the way. He goes, "Whatever," and begins just walking across the ice. And as he does, you can kind of see him stumbling across the ice. And he's leading the charge across the ice, and it seems to be holding, which makes you feel safer since he's obviously heavier than you.
Awesome. I'll call out to Magnus and say, "Magnus, if we get there before evening, I'll buy you your first beer."
Go, as you will, as you will. And he looks up and he stops. He goes, "Oh, look, I see lunch flying about." And he pulls out his hand axe. He looks up and he sees a small bird flying in the distance. You recognize it as Raftantus.
Yes. And I said, "No, Magnus, he belongs to me. Do not shoot my friend."
Sure. He puts his axe down. He goes, "The bird is your friend? What?"
Yes, he's what we call a familiar. He's very familiar to me. He's a good friend. Yes. He's a good friend he's searching for me, for a friend that's come before me.
You're quite hard, old man. And he put the axe down. Raftantus flies in and stops and he lands on your shoulder and he kind of like looks and he has this strange like chirp and he kind of turns his reptilian head to the side and you kind of have this connection that he seems to have found something interesting.
Okay. And do I need to make a roll of any sort?
No, not at all.
All right, so let me kind of look into his eyes and kind of get a sense of what he's found.
So your eyes go white, and now your eyes are his eyes. The three of you stop, and they kind of look at you strangely as you're just kind of standing there. The Archaeopteryx takes off, a Raftantus flies off into the distance. He gets to the other side of these stones that you're looking at, and you see what looks to be stonework ruins on the other side of these rocks. And as he flies over, and in the ice there, you see what looks to be some type of human remains.
Okay. Perfect. We're headed in the right direction.
Okay. With that, Raftantus returns to you. Your eyes kind of go back in, and you see. And as you do that, Siku's kind of looking at you, and Magnus looks and goes, "What are you? What are you? You some type of witch?"
I'm what you might call a historian, someone who is interested in both our past and our future.
But your eyes rolled back. Are you cursed? Are you cursed?
Let's just say I have powers that come in handy from time to time because of my understanding of the past and the future.
Powers?
Yes.
Are you a sorcerer of sort?
Of sorts.
I don't like that.
Some might say a magician.
I don't like that.
Only when life and death situations do I have to pull.
If you put any incantations on me, I'll split your head with this axe. You keep your mouth shut. I won't hear any words I don't understand. I attack you.
It would be the last thing you did, my friend. It would be the last.
He looks at you and goes, "Cocky old man. Cocky. But you keep your distance."
Aye. Let's talk of beer and keep it happy. Move along.
And as you do that, Magnus kind of moves off to the side, kind of keeping his eye on you. Siku looks up and he looks at you and goes, you know he's probably going to try to kill you, right?
He couldn't if he tried. Move along, my friend. Let's find the star medal I paid you for.
Sure. He picks up the supplies and kind of sleds it across. As you several hours in, you get to the edge of this, and with that, he breaks out some water and some food. As you've been going for several hours now, with the bread and the tea that you had is long gone, and he begins to bring out some food and things and supplies. Magnus reaches over. He sees some wrapped up meat in there, and he just goes and grabs it and starts eating it. Siku stops him. He goes, "It's not cooked. It's not cooked." And Magnus goes, "That's good enough for me."
Magnus, I paid you to feed yourself. Did you bring your own food?
Yes, I took it from him. Yeah, I am a Viking. I like to raid.
I understand that. But my bird also likes to eat, and you just had his portion. So he may take a portion from your gut, unless you want to give him your food.
He looks and goes, whatever. What are you here for so we can get back? It's too cold.
And with that, my Archaeopteryx pops out of the covering.
Mm-hmm.
He's got razor sharp teeth and beak.
Right.
And he pops out and he looks at his meal, which is now in his the Norseman's mouth, and he looks at him and he begins to squawk.
Okay. And he looks and goes, "You keep that snake bird thing away from me." And he's pointing at you with his axe. Come, what are we here for? So let's hurry up and get home. And with that, Siku looks and goes, we should make haste. We should not be here at night. What is it you're looking for? The star metal? Do you know?
Star metal, yes.
He looks up and goes,
and so with that, I'm going to give my meal to my Archaeopteryx friend.
Okay, so you hand that, and you kind of share it a little bit as he's kind of, Siku is making camp and kind of cooking the food, and he goes, well, should we just search around here? What does star metal look like exactly? Is it just black stone? Like
so then I
gold?
reach into my pouch, my backpack, and I show them what a piece looks like. And as I do that, as I reach in and my hand touches it, they see my hand begin to glow.
Okay.
And I says, this is what it looks like in my hands. And so I showed it to them, but I don't let it get ridiculous. But
okay.
I can obviously pull power from the metal itself.
They look at it and goes, huh, all right. Magnus looks like, I'll start looking around. And he starts going around, like around the place looking for rocks and things. Siku looks and goes, we should leave soon, so let's go and look. So they leave the little makeshift camp. I mean, all it is basically like he made like a little campfire and was cooking meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both kind of go off in different directions looking for the stones. And you see Siku pick up a stone and look over at you, and he realizes this isn't right, and he kind of kicks it over. So they're all looking for these stones. What would you like to do?
I am going to I'm going to be looking as well. And so do I need to do a roll of sorts?
No. So what you're going to do is as you're looking about, you're kind of looking at all these different rocks. Now you do go around to the other area that you've gone from like this rock formation to you're actually now seeing like the actual what looks to be like some type of carved rock or ruin. And as you go,
how far am I from the human remains?
It would be close to here. The human remains were near those ruins.
Let me make my way there. I'm going to look over on this side because I don't want to alarm them.
Okay. As you reach over, you do find you're walking over. You see these ruins, and you do see the body kind of in the snow and in the ice. You see like the feet sticking up, and as you get closer to it, now you saw an aerial view of it, but as you get closer, you don't smell decay. The body has been frozen, and you do see frozen blood, even though it's coagulated. It's been there for a while. It's still frozen, and as it gets a little bit closer, you get a little bit of a smell of it, but it seems like the ice is actually kind of hiding the smell of the body. You look about and you do see these what looks to be like cerulean robes that are kind of like slashed across the chest. Whatever did this individual in, it seemed like he got clawed across the chest. As you examine it, you do also see what looks to be fur that seems to be like kind of caught in him in a way, like it's frozen to one of his vestments.
Is this like fur like I'm wearing, or is it fur?
No, this is not. It's not like a pelt.
I'm gonna get a closer look.
So you get a closer look and you see 4 very distinct slash marks across his chest, fairly large. And you do see that he is Atlantean. He has paler skin. You see 3 slits on either side of his neck. That would be the telltale sign of an Atlantean, that the little gills that are kind of hidden there. You've run into one of these before. What is interesting now, you do see that he had like a satchel next to him that looks to be like he's carrying some type of books or parchment or something. But while that is okay, so you pick up the satchel, and inside you see there is a small pouch of gems inside. You also find a spell book and some type of liquid, and you also find there's some type of vial, a liquid, and there's also a separately in wrapped up separately is a fairly large pearl. So bag of gems, a pearl, a vial of liquid, and a spell book.
What star metal?
Right? There is no star metal in the bag of gems.
Back to Chromarium.
Right.
And thus ended the story.
That's it. I got all I came for. That's all I came for.
Wedges and wine. All right. I want to search is there any other are there any footprints, or has it been a while? Is there anything else I can see that to understand what might have attacked him? And I heard he was looking for star metal, so as great as it is that I found his belongings, did I find him before he found what I'm looking for?
It looks like it. He didn't find what you're looking for.
All right.
As you're looking about, you do see looks like some tracks in the snow. As you look, they are fairly large. You're not really sure what it is. They look like some very large bipedal something with 2 legs left the scene. You're not really sure what the tracks is. It's just large indentations in the snow. But again, as it's moving, you look to see that it seems like whatever it is might have been injured. You do see more blood splattered on one of the stones, and in that stone you do see more of this fur that's kind of wedged between the rocks.
Okay, so they were fighting, and it looks like there's parts of whatever this beast is wedged into some of the fur.
Mm-hmm.
Where is this in relation to this mechanism that we see to the?
And that's kind of like on the other side of the island. This is almost like an island in the middle of this frozen lake. It's on the other side. It's pretty far away. And as you still hear your 2 friends or mercenaries as they were looking for stone, and you see Magnus goes, "I think I got something." And you see him kind of coming around the corner with a fairly large stone, but it's not star metal. It's just a black rock.
All right. So I take a look at it, and I'm like, yes, this looks good, but unfortunately, no. No. And then I show him again what the star metal looks like.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, and he kind of pushes it. He throws it down on the ice. The ice cracks.
There's a bit of bluish tint to it.
Bluish.
Yes, and it also makes this sound, and so I kind of show him what it makes.
It has like a ting to it.
I've got kind of a ting to it.
All right, I'll keep looking.
There's a bit of a metal, even though it looks like rock. It has a metallic tinge to it. Does that make sense?
It does. I'll keep looking.
Gentlemen, is there a chance that it fell this way? And so I kind of pull them back towards where I was.
Okay, so Magnus is close to you. Siku's on the other side. You call out to him, and you hear him like on the other side of the rocks.
Yes.
But right now, you're talking to Magnus.
All right, so I'm gonna go. It says, Magnus, let me get Siku and tell him to bring our sundries this way. So I'll go over. Siku, are you there?
1 sec. Oh, good. As you say that, there is a sound of cracking ice behind you, and as you look, you see Magnus kind of look back as the ice behind him breaks. He falls backwards into the frozen water, and it starts kicking around like crazy. And as something is moving about in the water, the last thing that you see from him before he completely submerges is he pulls out his hand axe, and as something pulls him down below, you see some strange hand reach over his shoulder and then pull him back, kind of ripping and tearing at his shoulder. There's a little bit of blood that comes out as he gets pulled into into the water. Roll a d6 for initiative. I rolled a 2. You rolled a 4. You are very quick and agile. The adrenaline begins pumping as you look around.
Well, I was half expecting something. I just saw someone. I was ready.
Right.
You know.
So
as soon as I'm seeing this crack, I immediately lunge towards him because I'm thinking he's just falling backwards anyway. So I immediately go to help him.
Okay.
And then when I see the hand and everything happen, I'm even closer to him. But then as I see him getting pulled into the water by something that looks bigger than me, I am going to use my level. I'm going to pull out my Daemon spell.
All right, and with that, you will summon a Daemon. Now, what exactly does this look like, and or what do you say? What does it look like? This is the first time we've seen you cast a spell, as you are summoning a Daemon. And also, which Daemon are you spelling? I guess
the Daemon. I think I'm going to go with
Defender or Seeker?
Defender.
All right. So I need you to roll a d6, and then as you do that, also explain what this looks like.
Yes. So, all right, d6?
Yes. Oh,
right.
Goody.
So this is I rolled a 4?
Yep. All right. So this is a class 2 lesser Daemon. So let me pull out the what this thing looks like here.
So I began moving my hands about and using words from the Underborea,
right?
Ancient words from Underborea, and I began to summon something from a very bad place. It's a lesser Daemon, and it begins to there's a sickening feeling that takes over my body.
Okay.
As I continue to use these words and to move my hands about, and it just gives me a sick feeling, and there's a part of me that starts to even throw up because it's this horrible thing. But I continue to push through it, and at that point, it comes in the next round. It will be coming.
All right. So this is the earlier version of him. So the version that you have is this. It's almost like a slug that sprouts these legs, and the tail grows out, so it kind of looks like a lizard. But it has like these giant like fangs in the front of it. It has a black-red carapace as it kind of pulls out, and you see these legs as it's kind of crawling out, and it seems to be coming out of the ground, but it's summoned out of the ground as it kind of tears through the earth itself and begins looking about. As you instinctively point towards the water, as you see that hand still like clasping Magnus, and it's this thing kind of like is coming out of the water. With that, as Magnus disappears into the water, you see something coming out of the water, and you see this giant fish head come out of the lake itself and begins running up onto the shore. It's a giant fish man, and I say giant. He's 5 feet tall, but it's a fish man.
Okay.
All right. So here comes a fish man. He comes springing out of the water. He stops short as this daemon thing comes out. He takes out, it looks like he's got some type of spear, and he starts spearing it at this. It's almost like a makeshift trident as he comes out, and he kind of like spears at the daemon that you've summoned.
Okay.
All right. He does stab this thing. You see this black ichor come out the side of this daemon, and he kind of like roils back, like as it's kind of coming back. As that happens, a second one of these things come out of the water. He jumps up on the dock and he runs by the daemon, and as he's running out, this one just has claws, and he runs up and he takes a big claw at you.
All right.
You instinctively dodge out of the way as the claw moves in front of it. As soon as you dodge down, he lunges and kind of pushes his other claw into your face as he tries to attack you again. This time, as you step backwards, there's a blue light that kind of refracts off of you as your sorcerer's armor is activated, and his claw just deflects off of your sorcerer's armor. As that happens, we now roll initiative again. So roll a d6, and I will as well. Oh, you rolled a 1. Oh, goody. Did I not roll? I didn't. Okay, here it is.
Did I hear cheering in the?
I think so. All right, so I get to go again. Little guy is going to take his spear and spear down at the daemon. That's going to miss as the daemon kind of rolls back as he kind of stabs at the ground. The fish man in front of you with his claws reaches out to stab at you with his claw. The first claw swings. That's going to miss you. Again, the armor refracting off as your sorcerer's armor is activated. And now he comes again with his second attack. That actually comes through and he will claw you.
All right.
Take 3 points of slashing damage from the fish man. And because he's a magician, he could be near death. Because he's bleeding. All right, and with that, it is now your turn and the daemon's turn. Who do you want to go first? We'll have the daemon go first. I'll roll.
The daemon go first.
All right. Do this. Roll a d20 for me. Roll a d20. What'd you roll? Oh, you didn't. A 1! Oh, goody. Wait for it. We have to go to the new 3rd edition thing to see how amazing this is. Hang on 1 second. Let's now...
For crying out loud.
It's the critical miss chart! Alright, so he is a monster.
Hey.
Roll a d12. Let's see what he did. Oh, let's see. It's a 4. It's just a bad miss. Okay, alright. Hold your horse. Just a bad miss. Alright, so he makes his attack. He does miss as he claws out at the fish man. It is now your turn.
Alright, at this point, I'm going to do Burning Hands.
Okay. All right. So as you do that, you clasp the star medal, and what exactly do you say or do as you clasp the star medal?
I mumble a few words that I've memorized for 20 years now.
Right.
And as I do that, as I murmur the words, and I start saying it louder and louder, and then as I have my hands on the actual star metal, and I'm summoning the energy from the actual meteorite that I've collected over the years, and as I begin to pull this energy from Barsoom into my hands and into the energy that I pull the basically the star power of Barsoom into my hands, and then I just grab onto this guy because he came at me twice.
Right. So with that,
so,
the flames of the stone lash out at him. It singes his scales, and you smell a familiar smell. You smell cooked fish as the flames just cook and roast the body. Part of him kind of kicks back as he kind of goes back, still singeing from that flame as he kind of rolls back from the fire itself. And with that, the flame kind of dissipates into the stone.
Okay, and it does. Is he alive still?
He is.
Okay. Can I move towards the other?
You can. He will attack you though.
I'm just worried about my friend.
Oh, he's in the water right now. Just hang on. So we'll get there. So you do that. Now, as that happens, Magnus emerges from the water behind the fish man with his axe, and he tries to attack the fish man from the bank. You see the water, the frozen water, the ice are kind of chunked into his beard. You see a little bit of blood coming off of his shoulder as he reaches out with his axe. The axe itself is even though it's pulling out of the water, you can see there's still blood trailing off of it as he comes down to attack this monster. As he comes down with his axe, he connects, and we'll hit him. Ooh! All right, so he
launches since he's behind him.
Yeah, he gets a bonus to hit, but he grabs the axe into him, and as he does that, he kind of grabs the fishman, kind of rolls back and falls takes a step back as he's pulling himself up out of the water. As he does that, you see that there is another one of these things behind him. And so basically he's fighting free of that one. He grabs the axe and digs the axe into the back of the fish man. With that, you also hear feet crunching in the ice as you kind of look over your shoulder, and you see coming over the ridge, you see Siku is coming.
I yelled out, "Magnus, behind you, there's another one."
Okay.
And with that, I'll call out to Siku.
And with that, we'll roll for round number 3. Wait a minute, wait. No, yeah, we're in round 3. Round 3. All right, so I'm going to roll a d6. So fish are going on a 4, folks. What you got? Oh, you also...
I got 1.
Wait a minute. You rolled a 4. I rolled a 1. Oops. We hit the dice at the same time, but I'm looking in the chart. You rolled a 4, I rolled a 1, so
yeah,
you get to go first this time.
All right. Do you want me to just myself, or are you going to do Siku?
Let's do Damon. Let's do Damon first. Roll a d20 for the Damon.
All right. So the Damon is pissed. See how he does.
Oh, there you go. All right. He does reach over with this mouth. As it opens 4 times more than you think it should, as the jaw almost dislocates as this giant mouth opens up, and he does bite and grabs the arm of the fish. Roll damage for him, which is going to be a d6.
5.
All right, so you reach up, the Damon reaches up, he grabs the fish man by the arm. As its powerful jaws lock down on the arm, you hear a snap as the fish starts screaming, as it kind of pulls back, the arm dislocates and rips away from the fishman as the daemon drops down and is chewing on the severed arm of the fishman as this blood is just kind of like pouring out of the fish. This gray ooze that's coming out the side of him, and it's just as he's kind of turning and spraying, you just see the blood just kind of spraying out of the empty socket where his arm used to be. And with that, we'll now go to Magnus, who will try to attack again with his axe. He will connect, and that's going to be enough to kill this one. So as it stumbles back bleeding, he takes his axe, he buries it into the back again. As it drops, he spins, and he takes his axe to attack the one behind him. You notice that he is masterful with the hand axe. He swings around, but he does take a step back and lands, but he's now up on the shore as this thing is chasing him. With that, it is now your turn, and then it'll be Siku.
All right. What's the weapons does Siku have?
He's running over with a spear.
All right. Does he have vantage point to be able to throw one at the one that's attacking me?
Possibly. Right now, you're more focused on this thing that's trying to claw your eyes out.
Well, yes, I am. I was just asking if I could move Siku closer.
He'll go after you.
Oh, you want me to go next?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because y'all
Burning
are like
hand,
in melee.
I'm gonna this time I'm gonna use my dagger
Okay.
and attack since I'm so close to him.
Okay. So you reach out, you grab your silver dagger, and you go to stab at him. Roll a d20. You actually connect with the dagger. Roll a d4.
Right.
4.
Yes.
Holy cow. All right, so you go, you land the dagger right, and you actually slide it between it seems like a rib carapace or whatever that you're stabbing it in. As you do, you pull it back. There's a blood spray that comes out of his chest as you pull back. The fishman kind of like as he kind of takes a step back. As soon as he does that, Siku sees the moment and as he's running, he throws his spear at the fishman in front of you. He misses, and it goes into it plunges into the ice, but he didn't hit you, so that's a positive. As he is running, he's now going to run all the way down to here. As he's basically, he threw his spear, now he's running. As he's running, he pulls out what looks to be like a short sword as he's kind of getting closer to you. But he's moving. He's moving.
Okay.
And with that, it is now the fish. The fish in front of you is going to make an attack at you. Ooh, girl, I got a natural 20. Oh, girl. All right. Let's see. We got an Addy. I got to roll a d6.
You took how many damage? 2 points? 4?
You've taken 4. No, you took 3. You took 3. This will be double damage, which isn't bad. So it's 6 total damage. So you've taken 9 total. 9 total. So with that claw, he actually comes across and hits part of your neck. You've got like this claw coming across your neck. You instinctively you drop your staff and you kind of like reach up to kind of like stop the blood coming out of your neck. But now he's going to try to attack you again. Ooh, it's boom or bust. All right, so let's go back to the chart. We'll roll a d12 and see how bad this one is. Ooh, it's a 10. That's not good. Let's see. Hang on, let me pull it up. Wow. He falls back into the water as he loses his footing, and he falls backwards. So it gives you a moment of like falling back as you're kind of trying to stop the bleeding coming out of your throat. But he does fall backwards as you kind of stumble back. So now you actually have some range away from him. With that, this one is going to run forward and claw at Magnus. Another natural 20. Double damage.
Wow.
Only 4 points of damage. He goes and he claws at him. He does land his strike true. He cuts across his leg. He swings again and misses. Magnus is bleeding pretty bad as he was already wounded and now he's taking another wound across as he takes a step backwards. Now let's roll initiative. I am going on a 2. Fish on 2. Fish on 2. Heroes on 4. All right, with that, Magnus will go first, and he will return his axe to the fish and miss. And he'll roll a d20.
He is bleeding poorly.
That's just a miss. All right, so he's just kind of he's obviously favoring his leg that he just got slashed on. He takes a step, he misses completely. The daemon sees what's happening, and the daemon first is going to move into attack. So roll a d20 for the daemon. The daemon misses. He does lunge at him and takes a bite, but misses. With that, it is your turn.
And I am going to use my last burning hands.
Okay. All right.
As I'm running towards him, I put my hands on the metal inside my bag, and I begin to just call forth the power from the star metal of Barsoom.
Mm-hmm.
And I pull out my hand, and at that point from the bag, and at that point, point it towards him.
All right, with that, the flames reach out. You do 6 points of flame damage as auto damage as it goes, and it just like you have to kind of angle it to not hit Magnus, so you have to kind of like angle it out towards the water. As you do that, the flames like reach across and burns part of the scales off of it. It kind of takes a step back as it doesn't like the fire at all. But there's also this weird like you're getting this smell, but it's also you get this weird like the singeing all of the water that's dripping and the ice off of them is like completely melted as this intense heat is coming out of the stone itself. But with that does happen. Now that ends your turn, and now we go to Siku. He jumps down. Let me make sure. That's a feat of dexterity for him to jump down. he trips. He falls and he trips and he falls into the ice and he's like rolling around. So he gets down there, but that's the end of his turn. With that,
why I brought the Norseman.
That's why he brought the Northman. It was a good 2 gold spent. All right. With that, this one here is going to take another swipe at the Viking. He is going to miss. He will then use his other claw to attack and miss. This one is going to run back up out of the water and run at the daemon. He's going to try to kill this lizard. He misses with the first attack and misses with the second attack. Okay. With that, we just roll initiative again. You're going on a 2. I'm going on a 5. The fishman behind you is going to go and attack the natural 20 on the daemon. All right, what he does, he reaches up, he grabs a claw, he goes into the side of it, he opens his mouth and just starts tearing at the guts and the ichor of the daemon as the daemon drops dead, as the fishman is just ripping it. And as it does that, it's just ripping it apart and just eating it as he's killing it, but the daemon is dead. Now the one on Magnus. Miss on the first attack and miss on the second attack. Now it is your turn.
I'm going to stab the one that's in front of me.
All right, so you with your silver dagger, you go to stab him. You will get a bonus for flanking, so just roll your d20.
Boom.
Because you're flanking, you will hit. So roll your damage.
Yeah, and I get a +2 on my attack.
Right.
Yeah. All right, and so that's 1d4.
Mm-hmm.
Boom!
4. You take the dagger as he's reaching for and trying to get Magnus. You take the dagger, you stick it right up under its mouth. The entire shaft of the blade goes in under its mouth. As you pull it down, the fishman drops dead.
And I look over at Magnus, and I'm like, Magnus, you're hurt. How can I help?
Not now! And he's going to pull out his axe, and he throws his axe to attack the thing behind you.
All right.
Natural 20.
That's awesome.
Oh, okay. So that's going to be double damage for him. He reaches, he throws the axe at the fishman that's feeding. The axe digs into the back spine. You hear a snap as the fishman just drops on top of the daemon dead.
Wow. That was epic.
And with that, the fishmen have been killed.
Yep. And with that, Magos's balls release.
All right. Siku gets up. He reaches over with his sword and he stabs each of the fishmen to be sure that they're all dead. He reaches over. He grabs his spear and he looks over. He goes, "We should go. There will be more." And he reaches over and he goes, "I found this." And he hands you a fairly large chunk of star metal. Now, the thing that's interesting about this is that while yours has a bluish hue, this one has an orangish hue to it. It's black, but it has an orange hue to it. This is not one you've seen before.
This was worth my trip. Thank you, friend. Let's move towards where we found this.
It was the only one around, but I will take you. I will take you. So as you go back, you look and you see. It looks like there's small little fragments of this in various places, but he got the largest piece of it. But you see tiny little specks of this laying, definitely like an impact part of where this was. He goes, we should return with more gear so we can camp. It's dangerous. Those things might come back and more. We should go.
Now, with that, how far are we? Are we near an encampment on the other side?
There's a fishing encampment on the other side. They want to go back. What happens is the fishermen come out, they fish for a little bit, and they go back. They're not very active. You see, during this time of the year, this part, because daylight. There's only like 5 hours of day.
Yeah.
So at this point, they don't want to be out in the night. So that's why they normally kind of pull things back. So this is more active during the day and in different times of the season. But he's looking, he goes, "You can stay at that camp if you want. I'm heading back." And Magnus looks over and bleeding, he's kind of limping, and he's like, and he's kind of dragging his shield and his sword behind him. He goes, "I'm going back. You owe me 2 gold.
Magnus, do you want to stay and see if I can get you help here at this village?
The village is empty. The village is empty. They've already head back. It's like an empty fishing camp.
Got it. Okay. Is there anything I can do to help him with his wounds?
He is basically drank some ale and is just walking it off. He's still bleeding, but he's just walking it off. You are also like bleeding out your neck. You know, you've kind of got the bleeding stopped, but you're having to like basically walk back like this. But I got my rock.
It's only a flesh wound.
And with that, the 3 of you will return.
When I move my hand, does it keep squirting?
You have to kind of. It's juicy. It's juicy. You're gonna have to go find some Neosporin or something on that. All right. With that, the 3 of you return to Ryland. You found a few clues, and you do want to return, but you have this new found excitement as you have found a strange piece of star metal, which may actually help your idea that maybe that's what happened to Sarnath, this lost civilization. You know it was destroyed, and there's lots of rumors on what that was, and your theory of it being a meteorite, this might actually strengthen that. As the 3 of you head back to town to rest, to recover, and you look over the spoils of your day, as while you're excited about that, you also have the remnants of the findings that you got off of the Atlantean as well. Now, as you go back, we'll kind of fast forward the story. You're back in, you're resting and you're recovering. I do want to go ahead and go over the loot that you found. Using your innate ability to kind of just figure out by tasting and smelling and sipping this liquid. And you know that this is something that it's a syrup. It is called the Potion of Tree Man Syrup. If you drink this, it gives you bark skin as like almost like an armor effect, and it's something that is pretty popular with wooded folk, but it's actually drawn the sap of tree men.
Wow.
Tree man syrup. You also find
what does that add as far as?
we'll have to look it up. It's a bark skin spell effect, and if you
Okay.
drink all of it, it lasts for 24 hours, or you can drink it twice for a smaller duration.
Got it.
In the
All right.
book
Awesome.
itself, this is a spell book that you could actually transcribe into yours. There are some magician spells here that were rolled up by our friends in Discord.
Hey, thanks,
have
guys. And
3
ladies.
level 1 spells. These are all magician spells. The first one is Grease.
All right.
The second one is Message.
Oh, cool.
The
Awesome.
third one is Sleep.
Oh, perfect.
And there are 2 level 2 spells as well. One is Glitter
What?
Dust. And the last one is Detect Invisibility.
Wow.
All of these were random. Those are good random ones.
That's awesome.
You also have the Pearl.
Yep.
Now, the
A large
pearl,
pearl.
it is a large pearl. You do sense that there's some magic emanating off of it. But you will have to use Identify, and you're going to have to sacrifice, to cast Identify, it's a ritual, and you will have to sacrifice 100 gold worth of treasure to identify this strange pearl. With the things that you have in the bag of gems that you found, it should be enough to cast this. And what you do is over the next 24 hours,
24 hours. Yeah.
you deduce that this is something called a Pearl of Power. And what that allows you to do is you can actually store a spell inside of it, and that will increase your spell casting abilities. So you have basically an extra, and it can be up to a 2nd level spell.
Oh, that's awesome. So I get up to 1 second level spell.
Yeah. So you can put
Awesome.
a 1st or a 2nd level spell into the Pearl.
That's awesome. And that stays with me as long as I have the pearl, right?
Correct.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks everybody for helping.
Thank
with
you,
the,
Discord. Thank you, Discord.
Yeah.
All right, and with
That's
that,
awesome.
we will
I'm very
we will
excited about
end
that.
our episode 7. As a reminder, I am traveling next week, so this will be our only game for this week. I will be on Discord, and I thank you guys so much for watching and supporting us. And with that, we will catch you guys next time for episode 8, which will
Magnus, thanks you.
bring all of the party members back together.